let's go to the Iowa State Supplemental Application. So again, you have to fill out VMCAS, and then I think almost every school has a supplemental application, whether it's linked to VMCAS or on their own site. So there is a link to our supplemental in VMCAS, so you can get it through there.
It'll bring you to this page.
Okay, yep. So because our application cycle actually overlaps a little bit, right? Because we're still filling our class, although I think we very nearly filled our class this year. While you guys are working on that application for the next cycle, you'll see both there. So you want to do the applying to enter fall of 2019, okay? Because that's when you would be coming in. You'll be the class of 2023, if you can believe it. So all you have to do is click that. It's going to take you here, and you're going to say that you want to create an account. If you're applying for this cycle and you haven't actually opened up an application or supplemental application yet. If you've opened one up and looked around, or filled it out or submitted it, you're going to hit login. That's up there. So, so yes.
You need to have your VMCAS number. You have to start a VMCAS before you can log into our supplemental application. So just remember to start your VMCAS first and then the supplemental.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Yep. Because one of the first things up here, I'm so sorry this is really small, but I can send you this in a link as well, so you can like zoom in on it. But yes, so you'll like make a username, you'll put in your email address, you'll put in your VMCAS ID, so you will need that. You'll kind of put in some basic information on this first page. And then what you'll see is this terms of use. So typically when we like download an app or whatever, we're signing up for something, we click, yes, I've read and agreed I've read and agreed to the terms of use. And if you read all of those terms of use, you are a far better person than I am. Most people don't, right? We say yes, and we, assume that it's all legalese, and it doesn't really matter. These do matter a lot. So please read those. They talk about they talk about things like, please make sure you submit your application, how we're going to contact you, which is if there's any important information through the supplemental application, or for your application for that cycle, you will get a message on our message board. So it's through the supplemental application. You also get an email every time you get a message. So that talks about, yes, I understand that this is the primary way that you're going to contact me about anything important is on that message board. What that does is it allows our admissions staff, because there's 3 different people who are helping to make sure that we process your applications in as timely as a manner as we can, or as timely of a manner as we can. It allows Kathy to have a conversation with Deanna, the applicant. But if Kathy's out, then somebody else can answer my question, and they kind of have that trail of conversation. So they kind of have the context. So it keeps all of that kind of conversation all in one spot.
One other thing is it does keep the conversation in one spot, and it's a written record. Mm-hmm. There's too many times people will call us and say, oh, well, I talked to somebody and they said this was okay. We are not going to accept that. This way we both know what transpired. So a lot of times if somebody asks me, will this course work, or can I use this? I will write, I might tell them on the phone, but I will definitely write that back. And if you have questions, you should send them on the message board. Again, it's so there's a written record. We both know what was said.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So yes. Okay. That also talks about the fee for our supplemental application fee is $75. So that talks about that there as well.
Iowa State students or alumni don't have to pay
okay.
$75.
There you go. Okay. So this is what that page, your status page, will look like. The big blue box is because I screenshotted this before our tech guy took out the GRE information box. So if you haven't received that update yet, we no longer require the GRE, which we'll talk about a little bit more when we get to kind of that admissions process. That big blue box won't be there. But you'll see here the application status information. So once you hit submit there, it will kind of start tracking as far as, you know, your application has been received, your supplemental or your signature page and your supplemental application fee will be received. That kind of keeps track of that. It's not instantaneous. So I talked about those 3 people in the admissions office who process all of our applications. They do that manually. So they will update this manually. So it's not just a computer program that, you know, will do that. So it might take a day or 2 before you see that change.
Actually, it may take a week or so if you're looking for that change right at the deadline.
Yeah.
Because everybody submits everything at the deadline. Preferably you won't, but yeah, sometimes we're going through stuff as fast as we can. So, and just because like a lot of times now, they think the minute they send it to VMCAS, we see it. That's also not the fact because VMCAS still has their processes they're going through. So if we don't have that we've received your VMCAS, that's another thing. We look at it when it's verified.
Which we talk about, yep.
We talk about. So yeah, please just give us a little bit of time because all 3 of us that work on them also have other duties in our office.
Yes, absolutely. So definitely it's okay. I think after a week or so to reach out on the message board and be like, hey, I'm not seeing this change. Can you, give me a timeline? I want to confirm that it's there. So then those, so Kathy and the other admissions people will be able to respond to that and help you out. So absolutely. Okay. Any questions about the supplemental application? So on the supplemental application, you'll put in some awards and honors that you've done. You won't have to write an essay. The essay that is our supplemental question is in VMCAS. So there's not an extra essay with the supplemental application. It's through VMCAS. Your extra question for VMCAS is the same as what they have, or your question after you fill out the supplemental pops up? So it will actually be when you're filling out VMCAS. I'm going to go back to that.
Now the essay is the honors and awards and I think volunteer leadership types of things. Because people write so many in their application, our committee wants them whittled down. So I think we asked for your 4 high school and 5 college for both extracurricular, that's what I was trying to think of, and honors and awards, because some people will actually have pages of this. Our committee says, no, we don't care about that. We want to know what you felt was the most important to you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, so that'll be in the supplemental, but that supplemental question is, let's see, did I have a,
no, go back, it's under.
Yeah, I know, there's my big red arrow. So it's underneath this tab on the program materials Iowa State page in VMCAS. So it's hidden a little bit. That's why I wanted to, point it out, because it's not part of that. It's an extra question on VMCAS versus like a question that's tied to that supplemental. So I shouldn't use supplemental question. It's like an extra question, bonus question that you get to fill out. So, but that's under this questions tab on the program materials. Okay. Any other questions? That was a good question. Okay, I do have a question here that let's, if we can just tackle it real quick because it's about the GRE. So they asked, if the GRE isn't required, is another standardized test needed? No, we're we completely eliminated the requirement of a standardized test. So it's not that you have to take the MCAT versus the GRE or anything like that. There's no requirement. There's no score given for GRE. I know that it sounds like there's more schools that are moving in that direction or discussing that. But right now, I think maybe we're the 4th or 5th school that's doing that. So chances are, if you're applying to other schools, you probably have to take the GRE anyway. But if you're applying to those schools that aren't requiring the GRE, woohoo, congratulations, you don't have to take